Countdown, yeah.
Okay, that does not sound happy. It sounds like a war song, Levi.
Are we good to do Mike 27?
27's ready.
Welcome into one-on-one. We're going to be having Hallie Hart from the Ocali.
Alright, you're good.
All right, thank you. Welcome into One-on-One on Sunlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318. It is a Friday, and there is still a ton of stuff going on in the NBA. I'm Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host, as always, Logan Mosier. Your Oklahoma City Thunder have made quite the addition.
They have.
Markieff Morris. Got a Morris twin. Maybe not the best one, but they got a twin.
Right.
What addition is this for the Oklahoma City Thunder?
I think he's going to be what they thought Patrick Patterson was going to be for them, a big that can come off the bench and stretch the floor. Shooting 33% from three this year, not as good as he's usually been. Last season, he was shooting 36%, and the year before that, also 36%. So I think that's what they're hoping, a guy that can come off the bench, be a nice pick-and-pop guy, can work well with the bench unit. I mean, like you said, not the better of the Morris twins, but still a pretty good player. I like this pickup by the Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, they needed that roster addition. They were not going to be able to, due to cap space, we're not going to be able to probably go get somebody at the trade deadline. People thought they would go after some 10-day contracts, but they go out and get Markieff Morris, as you said, kind of a down year, really across the board. He's averaging 11.5 points, 5 rebounds, and almost 2 assists in 34 games. I believe he 17 starts. He hasn't started a ton of games, but was in Washington, got traded to the Pelicans, and then released, so now he is in Oklahoma City. The thing is, he chose the Thunder over several teams. The Lakers, Houston, and Toronto. And you saw Enes Kanter pick the Trailblazers over several other teams. So what does it mean for the Thunder that maybe in recent years, and not that necessarily that this is true, but now that they have guys like Markieff Morris choosing them over LeBron, over James Harden, and over Toronto?
Right, that's a big, I think keeping Paul George is kind of the domino of all this, because for the longest time, small markets have trouble getting guys like this in free agency. The Thunder have always done okay getting guys on the buyout market and stuff like that, but they've never been able to probably get, definitely not a guy like Paul George. Markieff Morris is another one of those guys that's a pretty good acquisition for them. I think it speaks to the way the NBA is now. The big market doesn't always win. It's wherever the good teams are, that's where players want to play. Guys want to play with Russell Westbrook and Paul George, Steven Adams. That's not something you're used to hearing. Normally it's Russell Westbrook makes everyone worse, blah, 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 blah. No one wants to play in OKC. The most exciting thing about OKC is, Bricktown? And
yeah, probably.
Bricktown is just a way worse version of the Riverwalk in San Antonio. So I think
tourism hot takes here on One-on-One. You better be careful. You are in Oklahoma.
I've been to Bricktown plenty. I think I can speak on how bad Bricktown is. But it's a big deal. It's a big deal for the Thunder. I think it's going to help them in the postseason. I'm interested to see how he plays throughout the rest of the regular season, how he can fit in with the offense going into the postseason. But I like the move by OKC.
Yeah, I think it's a good get. Listen, I am very impressed with Paul George. I'm really impressed with Russell Westbrook, probably more so with Westbrook, as crazy as it sounds, the transition he's made in his game to cater to Paul George. I've always been impressed with Sam Presti and what the Thunder have been able to do. But it's all for nothing, really. I mean, because the ultimate goal is to win championships.
Right.
They're not going to win a championship, but at least they're going after somebody. At least they're trying, and they may get close. So that I can't knock. A good move for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Absolutely. And like you said, they're not likely to win a championship this year, but they are building a very nice roster that, let's say they get lucky. Something happens to Golden State, they get upset in the first round, they fall apart as a team or whatever it may be. OKC might be the second best team in the West based on experience and roster. I know Denver has a better record than them right now, but Denver doesn't have the playoff experience of OKC. They don't have just the experience in general, a lot of young guys on that team. So if you're looking at it, OKC might be the second best team in the West right now. So we'll have to see what they can do going into the postseason, see if they can catch a break against the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, you never know. There's potential for the Thunder or the Warriors to implode. Not likely, but there is possibility. Speaking of the Warriors, before they went on their All-Star break on Wednesday night, Steve Kerr, he killed the clipboard, so that clipboard is no longer there.
What's his kill count on clipboards? It's got to be double digits.
It's
Hall
close. Of Fame type numbers.
It is.
Breaking clipboards, winning championships, and getting punched in the face by Michael Jordan. That is Steve Kerr's legacy, one that no one can rival. But we've seen him lose his mind before. I don't know that you've seen him lose his mind quite like that.
Yeah.
Find $25,000 for. It was for a flagrant foul that probably wasn't a flagrant foul.
Yeah.
But he lost his mind. Fined, as I said, $25,000 for verbal abuse and confrontating the official. Too much of a fine, too little? Did Steve Kerr overreact? What was going on in that situation?
I think he probably overreacted a little bit, but I could see where it came from. The ref, I watched that game. The reffing situation in that game was
bad.
It was really bad. It was terrible. So I can understand his frustration. Obviously, he was going to get fined. He probably said some choice words that I can't repeat to you on this show to the referee, and that's always going to get you a fine, no matter how little or how much it is. But Steve Kerr's always kind of done this. He's willing to get himself tossed from a game in order to motivate his team. And they were in bad shape on Wednesday night against the Trailblazers. They didn't look like themselves. They weren't playing as well as they could have. So maybe he was trying to get some kind of a spark, maybe get himself tossed, get them going or something. I don't know. It was a bad ref. It was a badly officiated game. I can understand the frustration. I understand the fine. I think it's an appropriate amount. It's just normal. It's like you said, it's Steve Kerr stuff.
I have much less of a problem with this than I do what Joel Embiid did. Because this was, and that still heated the moment in the post-game press conference. But for, Steve Kerr to do this in the game, you could tell he was letting his frustrations loose in the moment, and they deserved to.
Yeah.
At least he'd go, listen, you can't hit the official. You can't do anything. You get fined $25,000 for saying stuff to him. But he owes the same amount, I believe, as Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
At least he got his shot in. At least he got a little bit of his frustration. Has KD holding him back, which KD holding somebody back. You think Steve Kerr could really get away from it if he wanted to. But Joel Embiid looks in the microphone, and curses. He can't say what he said, but goes after the officials. If you're gonna do it in game. Get your shot in. So I have no problem with what Steve Kerr did. That was not a flagrant foul.
Absolutely.
I believe they called it on Draymond.
Yeah.
And it was on
Zach Collins.
The guy out of Gonzaga.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, it started as a common foul, and then they went and looked at it, and they did the thing where they slowed it down to like a fourth of the normal speed, and they said he hit him in the face and said it was a flagrant foul. And Steve Kerr, rightly so, went on a tirade. So, I mean,
this is not.
I agree with you, though. I appreciate they did it to the ref's face. He didn't go to the press conference and, as he's walking away and be like, oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, the clipboard would say otherwise.
Right.
But, yeah, I think that he went about it probably, as crazy as it sounds, the best way he possibly could to let his frustration out.
Yeah.
But, the league's going to have to take a look at this and re-examine the way they operate when this comes down to Game 7 of the finals and the refs screw it up. Then all hell's going to break loose, and everyone's going to be looking for an answer. But down in Dallas the other day, Dirk and D-Wade had their jersey swap. They buried the hatchet, really. I didn't realize before I read about this how much they really kind of hated each other.
Oh, yeah.
Especially after that 06.
Yeah,
and then
and
the 2011
finals.
They did not like each other. And now I think it was a cool moment. And I think Dirk and D-Wade have always kind of been the moral high ground for the league. They've always been respected.
Right.
And I don't know that Dirk has a problem with anyone besides D-Wade. And I don't know that D-Wade had a problem with anyone besides Dirk.
Yeah.
But they certainly really did for a long time. Good Lord, Dirk can't run.
No.
Dirk can't run.
No.
Man.
That's hard to watch.
Hey, it still goes in sometimes. But, I mean, I thought it was a cool story to see.
Yeah.
Two Hall of Famers, two legends go about it that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like you said, they really did not like each other. Dwayne Wade, in that controversial 06 finals, won his first championship. And, they had Dirk and them had some choice words for them. And then in the 2011 finals, you get Wade and LeBron, fake coughing, pretending like they're making fun of Dirk because he said he was sick. And then Dirk ultimately probably has the most unlikely finals victory, besides maybe that 3-1 Cavs victory in recent NBA history. So, you get that back and forth, and they've always been connected in some way with their championships and such. So it was great to see these two play their final game and, bury the hatchet like you said.
Which is funny because you mentioned that LeBron and D-Wade coughing, making fun of Dirk, which coughing is what LeBron did that entire finals because he choked on the biggest stage. People really had legitimate questions about LeBron's ability to win in the biggest moments at that time. Obviously, He's got 3 championships now, ended up winning 2 in Miami. But it was nice to see Dirk and Dwayne Wade go about it the way they did when they're both going to ride off into the sunset. Dirk is not fully committed to retirement, but I think
he is. I think everyone else has decided for him.
Yeah, he's kind of like you saw it with Kobe and D Wade and with Derek Jeter. Some people and Mariano Rivera. Some people like the
farewell tour.
Yeah, the farewell tour, and Dirk's simply not one of them.
Yeah, he's kind of the more the Tim Duncan type. Tim Duncan during that whole Kobe Bryant tour, Tim Duncan probably knew it was his last year, and he just went away.
Yeah.
So
some guys are different like that, but give a round of applause to the New York Knicks.
Oh yeah, they snapped a franchise worst 18-game losing streak.
They're on a win streak now
of
one game, and it's going to last because
Is it?
we're going to the All-Star
That's
break.
True.
So you can live on this win for days.
That's true.
Congratulations to the New York Knickerbockers. 18-game losing streak snapped.
Was that a smart idea? If they're trying to get Zion, should they have lost this game?
Listen, if you're going to go get Zion and you got a tank, do it. But, win game 11 and then win game 10.
Just split it up.
Be bad, but don't be 18 games bad. That's bad.
That
is really, really bad. So congratulations to the Knicks. I'm sure James Dolan's playing in his garage band in Lower Manhattan, just enjoying this. Yeah, whatever he does, wherever he's at in New York, James Dolan, he probably didn't even know they were on an 18-game losing streak. But they did snap it, so going to the All-Star break, good for the Knicks. Russ gets that 11th straight triple-double in the loss last night against the Pelicans.
Yes.
And James Harden kept his streak alive. Those are active streaks. We talked about those, but they are still going on. But he got that 11th triple-double down in New Orleans last night. But there's something else that happened in that arena if you want to get into that because I haven't seen the story yet. You were telling me about it, about the New Orleans Pelicans might be pressing the reset button in the front office based on Anthony Davis's actions last night.
Right. Anthony Davis got injured in the game, ended up leaving the arena last night. The owner, who also owns the Saints, has more of a football mentality. She was upset that Anthony Davis left the game after he was ruled out and wasn't going to be able to return. So she wants to overhaul the front office, which is the smartest idea anyone in the Pelicans organization has had since drafting Anthony Davis. Dell Demps has done nothing in decades worth of experience. He has shown you that he couldn't make a good trade for Chris Paul. He drafted Anthony Davis, but I could have done that. And after that, I like the DeMarcus Cousins move, but everything else is a bad move. So they want to overhaul everything, get a new GM in there to overtake the Anthony Davis trade. Because I think she's like, if Dell Demps makes this trade, we're not going to get anything. We're going to be stuck in purgatory for the rest of time if Dell Demps makes a trade. I can't let him do that.
We talked about this. The Pelicans are kind of, screw you, Lakers. They mess with them, but they're thinking they're going to get the best deal out of Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge is going to find a way and be laughing at the end, and then the Lakers will be laughing. I don't think you're right. They're a football ownership group. That's the way they operate. And you see that because the Saints have been successful in the Pelicans. They chose the name the Pelicans. There's some serious errors in judgment here for the franchise. But this is a pivotal time, and they have got to get it fixed.
Absolutely.
Really quickly, have you seen the new high-tech
jerseys
I have. That premiered? Fan, not a fan? $600, by the way.
It's only going to be $600? I thought it'd be more than that.
It'll probably only work for a week, but...
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I will not be purchasing that jersey, obviously. It's for people with a lot more disposable income than myself.
You might be rich by the time these things
I think it's the ultimate
jersey
for bandwagon fans.
Yeah. I mean, Warriors fans they could switch it to a Durant Knicks jersey next summer. All right, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and pick our winners over the All-Star competitions, break down the All-Star game. We'll be right back after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Tinker Federal Credit Union. Visit facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back into One-on-One on Suddenlink Channel 112 live from Studio 318. It is All-Star Weekend. We're starting with the three-point contest. We have the dunk contest. It is the 68th All-Star game, NBA All-Star game, might I add. You have Team LeBron versus Team Giannis. You also have Team Spencer versus Team Mosher that we will break down on Monday. And I might have thrown that piece of paper away, so we're going to have to do some digging.
It's all right. We can go back. We can watch Wednesday's show.
Thank the Lord for technology. So we will start here with the Taco Bell Skills Challenge. I love the names. Your participants are Mike Conley from the Grizzlies, Luka Doncic of the Mavericks, De'Aaron Fox of the Kings, Nikola Jokic of the Nuggets, Kyle Kuzma of the Lakers, Jason Tatum of the Celtics. You got another Nikola Vucevic of the Magic, and Trae Young of the Hawks. He got invited.
He did.
Good for him. So, last year's winner was Spencer Dinwiddie of Brooklyn. He didn't, and then you had Kristaps before that, and Karl-Anthony Towns in 2016. So you've had some big guys win it in the past. Who's your favorite to win the skills competition this year?
It's tough. I had a split between Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic. And, oh, man, if Nikola Jokic just didn't run about as fast as Dirk, I think it'd be easy to pick him. I'm going to pick Luka. He's been super exciting. I think he has all the skills necessary to win this contest, and I think he's just fast enough to beat Jokic in time.
So you're taking...
I'm taking Luka.
You're taking Luka. All right, we'll get back to this really quickly. I want to put a pause on this All-Star talk because what we finished last segment was the New Orleans Pelicans in their front office situation. They have fired general manager Dell Demps. Your initial reaction?
Man, that's only like a decade too late.
Well, that's great because on the break you said 8 years too late. Yeah. So we've added 2.
We've added 2 years. I went back and looked. It's been bad for a while.
So
it's been bad for way too long.
Yeah, and you alluded that in the 10 minutes ago before we knew it was official. Did you know it was official?
I did not.
Okay, so I was going to say, you were smart, Logan. I knew that before, but now I'm convinced maybe you should run the Pelicans. But they have fired.
I probably could have done a better job. Not a better, but a similar job.
You couldn't have done worse. I mean, you have good basketball IQ. I mean, you literally cannot have done worse.
I appreciate you, Reed. I appreciate you having hope in me.
I have all the hope in the world, but the New Orleans Pelicans have fired general manager Dell Demps. Anthony Davis is somewhere with a sore shoulder and a smile on his face. So back to the skills challenge. You are taking Jason Tatum, right?
Luka Doncic,
excuse me.
Jason Tatum's not a bad pick, though.
You're good because that's my pick.
Okay.
That's why I said that, I think. So you're taking Luka. I am taking Jason Tatum of the Celtics. This could go either way because I don't know that some guy like Trae Young, I don't know all around. He's got potential.
He could win.
I hope not. But there's potential in all these guys. Obviously, that's why they're in there. They play in the NBA. But I'm going to go Jason Tatum for my Taco Bell Skills Challenge winner, and you are going Luka Doncic. So we have the Skills Challenge as the first event of the weekend.
Right.
The three-point contest is the second event. I find this more exciting than the dunk contest. This is the most exciting thing this weekend. I honestly think this is better than the dunk contest.
I agree.
Maybe not in the 80s, but it is now. The Skills Challenge is fun, but this is more exciting, especially than the game itself. So our participants here, as you see there, Devin Booker, Seth Curry, and Steph Curry playing in their hometown. Danny Green, Buddy Hield, Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, Dirk Nowitzki. Can he make it through?
I don't think he'll finish. I think he's too slow. I don't think he'll finish.
Kemba Walker and Joe Harris. Seth Curry, look at that percentage, ahead of Steph.
Yeah.
But it is the Curry brothers that are close to. You have Buddy Hield leading that now from the Kings. So, who's your winner in this?
I'm taking Danny Green. There was a video of him on Twitter. He was practicing with the racks. I don't think he missed. I watched him shoot 2 racks and he didn't miss. I think he is the kind of guy that has the shot. Like, his release is so fast and he does it so well. He's off the catch. He's super fast. I think he has a great chance. Another guy, Buddy Hield. I think Buddy Hield has a really good chance to win.
Devin Booker won it last year.
Right.
And he's in there again. So he's looking to repeat.
He's had a rough year though.
But this is his chance to.
That's true.
Try and be the.
This is his MVP.
First back-to-back winner since Jason Capano did it for Miami and then Toronto. So he's in 07, 08. Dirk won it way back in 06. So he does have that title there for him.
Yeah.
Steph hasn't won since 2015. The last 3 years it was Devin Booker, Eric Gordon, and Klay Thompson.
Right.
I'm taking Steph Curry.
That's fair.
I mean, that's
totally fair.
Why not? He's not shooting. Doesn't have the best percentage this year.
Yeah.
But he's going to go down as the greatest three-point shooter
Absolutely.
in the history of the game.
Absolutely.
So I can't pick against him. He may not win. He may not even try that hard, honestly, because he doesn't need it.
I don't know. It's in Charlotte. It's his hometown.
It is true.
He could have a great weekend in general.
Yeah, and he's on your team. I might be in trouble.
Yep.
You're right. It is. It's his city. He might show out. I really hope not, but at least in the three-point competition. So now we have the...
Wait, hang on. Before we go to the dunk contest, you remember what Paul George was able to do in the three-point contest last year, right? How bad it was?
Yes.
Who are you picking to have the Paul George-type performance?
Ooh, you said Devin Booker's having a bad year.
Yeah.
He won it last year, maybe trying to overcompensate for this bad year, get back to, I would say winning ways, but what winning ways has he had? So, probably Joe Harris. I'll go Joe Harris that has a historically bad performance.
Okay, I'm going with Chris Middleton.
I thought you were going to go Dirk, and I was going to...
Oh, no, I can't.
Don't do Dirk that way.
I don't think Dirk will finish, but I kind of wanted to just exclude him from this. I didn't want to be mean.
All right, so, yeah, there's going to be some bad ones. There always is. Maybe not Paul George bad like last year.
Oh, my gosh. He airballed like 2 or 3 last year, right?
Yeah, that was the height of Sam Presti had a for sale sign in his yard. Things have vastly improved since that time, but that was bad.
That was
bad time. So now we have the AT&T Slam Dunk Contest, which used to be my favorite, now is my least favorite because every dunk has been done. It's just not that fun to me. So you have Miles Bridges of the Hornets, John Collins of the Hawks, Hamidou Diallo of the Thunder, which a couple months ago we thought he was going to be on a hospital bed.
Right.
He was stretchered off with a leg injury, but it was not as bad as originally thought, and now he's in the dunk contest. And Dennis Smith Jr. of the Knicks for the last 9 days. But the Knicks have somebody there, so good for them.
Yeah.
4 guys, Miles Bridges, John Collins, Hamidou Diallo, and Dennis Smith Jr. Who is your dunk contest winner?
This one's always so tough because you never know what the guys are going to do. I want to say I'm going to take John Collins from the Hawks. He's had a really good year. I've seen him have some pretty impressive dunks in a game, so I'm hoping he can bring it to the dunk contest.
We need Nate Robinson like of 2005 back in this thing.
Yeah. You think someone will try? I don't know. What can you do? What's the most impressive step, like the next step? Blake Griffin jumped over the hood of a Kia. What's next?
Somebody goes from
Aaron
the
Gordon
rafters.
jumped over a mascot.
Somebody's got to fall from the rafters with a parachute.
Okay.
Parachute in and dunk it. Automatic win.
Okay.
Seriously. Obviously sarcasm, but what else can you do? You had Dwight Howard putting the Superman sticker at the top of the backboard. That was cool.
Someone blew out a candle on a cupcake on the top of the backboard. I can't remember who did that. Zach LaVine had his insane dunk contest, the 2 he had a couple of years ago. Aaron Gordon got robbed of one of those. We've seen some impressive stuff. I'm interested to see what these guys do in terms of creativity, but I'm with you. This is kind of my least anticipated event this weekend. I feel like Dennis Smith Jr. is going to throw down some 360s or something. And it's going to be forceful and it's going to be loud and people are going to be excited. But at the end of the day, we're going to look back and be like, why? Like that none of this was special. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, this hasn't really been special in We've seen every dunk has been done before, and it's just got to a point where it's just not that impressive. Donovan Mitchell won last year. Glenn Robinson the year before that, and Zach LaVine won back-to-back in 2015, 2016. So did you pick a winner?
I picked John Collins.
John Collins. I'll say Dennis Smith Jr. I think, but I mean, it could go really either way. How do you think they'll always include the dunk contest, or do you think we're going to get to a point?
Yeah, I think it'll always be there. I wish we could get back to a point where the stars are doing the three-point contest, where we can get, I'm not saying LeBron, but who else is a flash or like a star? Like Paul George, I would love to see him in another dunk contest. I don't know if Kevin Durant would have a...
He could fly, though.
He could, but I don't know. Blake Griffin, obviously, when he was in there.
Yeah, he jumped over the hood of a Kia.
In his defense, they didn't let him use a Ferrari. He could have jumped over a whole Ferrari.
Well, no one's going to put their Ferrari out there for a 6'10" guy to jump through the...
Blake would have put his own Ferrari out there.
Well, yeah, there's some financial discussions with that now, but yeah, I mean...
Giannis, I would love to see Giannis do a dunk contest.
There's too much at risk, I guess, for these guys, I guess. But speaking of Giannis, in the 68th All-Star game that kicks off, or tips off, I guess, 8 p.m. on Sunday, it is Team Giannis versus Team LeBron. Who are you picking to win this game?
Well, I'll connect this to something we were talking about earlier. The Pelicans should not hire Giannis as their GM. I think he did a terrible job in this draft. I'm taking Team LeBron by 50.
50?
Not really, but by a lot.
How much? In all?
20, close to 20.
Close to 20. I think it'll be close. I don't think people will really go off the rails that much in this game, but I'm going to take Team LeBron as well, because you look at the statistics, LeBron has really the better players across the board.
Right.
And LeBron, he needs a little help in winning something, because the Lakers really aren't getting it done.
They might not even make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, they're below 500 at the All-Star break. LeBron James' team, their starters are Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, LeBron, obviously, and Kawhi Leonard. And Giannis' starters are Steph Curry, Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Kemba Walker. And obviously they have several reserves, but those are the starters. I'm going to take Team LeBron, and you're taking Team LeBron as well. MVP of the game.
That's tough. I don't want to pick the MVP on the losing team, but I feel like it's going to be Kemba Walker, just because it's in Charlotte. They like to let guys, if it's in their city, do whatever they want. But if I have to pick on the winning team, I'm taking James Harden.
I'm taking Anthony Davis, although he is.
He might not even play.
I have to go with the thought that he's going to.
Okay.
He's probably not going to, obviously, with the shoulder injury. But that was my pick earlier when I talked to somebody else before he got hurt. So I'm going to have to stick with that pick, because if he can play, he's going to want to prove something. Just kind of a metaphorical middle finger, really, to the league and to the Pelicans. So we're going to take a quick break. We have special guest Hallie Hart from the Oak-Holly to break down Cowboy basketball's second worst home loss in school history and the game this weekend against the Texas Longhorns. We'll be right back after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back to One on One on Suddenlink Channel 112, live studio 318. We are joined by Hallie Hart of the Ocali, Oklahoma State men's beat reporter. They have taken you on a ride this season because it's been it's been a whole lot of downs, a couple ups, but last night, or 2 nights ago rather, in Gallagher-Iba Arena against number 15 Texas Tech was not. Maybe we should mute the computer. That would help.
Are you watching videos on ESPN?
Yeah, they got me with the ad again.
They're tricky.
Yeah, they are. Second worst home loss in school history, 78-50 loss to Texas Tech. How bad was this? How bad for performance, and what did it mean to the season as a whole?
Yeah, well, you talked about how it's been ups and downs, but mostly downs lately. Well, it's the 7th in a row for Big 12 losses. You know, they had that one victory in there against South Carolina, but that was the Big 12 SEC challenge. So Big 12 wins are hard to come by for the Cowboys, and that loss pretty much from the start was bad. I think Mike Boynton said it best when he was like, we were bad and Texas Tech made us bad. I mean, he obviously owned up to their mistakes after the game. There was really nothing else he could do. But yeah, it was, you know, it had to be frustrating for the Cowboys because there have been a lot of Big 12 games where they've been able to have a lead at the start and then they've lost it, but they've at least kind of kept up with the other Big 12 team throughout, you know. But that's what makes this game different, is just pretty much just a few minutes after it started, they were falling behind. Cameron McGriff was the only guy who was even scoring, and Texas Tech's defense established that dominance early on.
Matt Mooney was a disaster for the Cowboys. I mean, he was 5 of 8 from the field. He was 5 of 5 from beyond the arc. Dropped 15 points, as I said, all those coming from beyond the 3-point line. I mean, what do you do when a guy shoots like that? I mean, maybe you don't lose by 28, but Texas Tech was shooting like they're not a good shooting team, and they unfortunately decided to be against the Cowboys. So did the Cowboys, in your mind, play bad defense, or was it just everything was falling for the Red Raiders?
I mean, they probably could have played better defense. I know Lindy Waters, one thing that he mentioned after the game was how the two teams were contesting shots differently, because Texas Tech, you know, they were right up next to him playing that aggressive defense that they usually do. And he mentioned how the Cowboys were contesting shots, but they were still, you know, a few inches farther back from him than they needed to be. They weren't quite bringing that aggression. So, yeah, the defense could have stepped up a little bit, but even if they did, it would have been really tough for them to contain Texas Tech. I was surprised because, like you said, they're not a particularly good shooting team. I didn't expect Matt Mooney to go 5 for 5 from 3-point range.
Did.
Yeah, I don't think so. But, you know, there's not much they can do when a guy has a night like that. You know, it's hard to stop it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Texas Tech 12 for 25 as a team from behind the arc. And OSU has been one of the best in the Big 12 at guarding that 3-point line. So hopefully this is more of an outlier instead of a trend to come. We'll talk about some of the positives that happened. The walk-on former manager Taylor got in for his first time, hit his first shot. Describe what that was like, being in the arena for that.
Yeah, it was interesting because, first of all, by that point, most of the fans had already filed out of the arena, so it was a small crowd. But the crowd that was there, especially the students, were just losing their minds, cheering loudly. And someone, you know, if you told them, okay, this is the second worst Gallagher-Iba loss in OSU's history,
Yeah.
and yet the crowd is screaming like this. They'd be like, what's happening?
Yeah.
But it was a really cool moment to see them give that support to Tanner Taylor,
Yeah.
especially a guy like that who had worked hard as a manager before. And then when you put in the other 3 walk-ons too,
Right.
and they were guys they just showed up at that tryout that OSU had. So it's kind of a neat story, even though they did play in the second worst home loss in OSU history.
Right.
Still pretty cool for them to be able to say, hey, we came to open tryouts and got to play.
Right. Not a way you want to make your college basketball debut, but you told me yesterday an interesting stat about Tanner Taylor. Do you want to tell the rest of the world what that stat is?
Yeah, well, Nathan Ruiz from the Oklahoman actually pointed this out to me, and it makes me kind of sad to say, but he's actually scored more points than Trey Reeves now.
Yeah.
Because Trey Reeves has 2 at
Right.
OSU, and Tanner Taylor
Yes.
has 3 now, so
Right,
it's
and-
kind of sad, especially with poor Trey Reeves has that
Right.
broken foot now, so he can't even, otherwise, he would have been one who would have been coming
Right.
in off the bench,
Yeah.
but no
Absolutely.
opportunity now.
Yeah, absolutely. Terrible story for Trey Reeves. He missed his golden opportunity basically when he broke his foot. He would definitely have more than 2 career points at OSU if he had not had that injury. He will probably get back on the court and pass Tanner Taylor at some point. Is he planning to come back this season at all, or is he going to be out until the next season?
I don't know about this season, but he's a junior this
Yeah.
year, so he'll have another
another year.
opportunity. I know next year's when they'll be bringing in all the new guys
Right.
from this next recruiting class, but still, I bet if it's a game, especially with him being a senior, some of those last few
Right.
games, if it's not close, I'm sure Boynton will give him an opportunity if he's healthy.
Right.
So you have to move past that 28-point loss. You're going down to Austin this weekend. Really, the statistics across the board and the team averages really aren't that different. Texas is not great. They're 14-11, obviously a little bit better than the Cowboys. They're averaging 71.8 points per game, 68 for the Cowboys, and they're allowing 66 while the Cowboys are allowing 61. So you would think your score would probably be around 71 to 67. But the assists per game and rebounds per game are pretty similar. What do the Cowboys have to do down in Texas they don't want that 8th Big 12 loss in a row, because that would be the first time it's ever happened in school history. I told you last night, and you probably know this, but this has never happened in school history with that 8 straight conference losses. Plus, this will be the 6th season that Texas Tech loss ensured. This is the 6th year in a row that they will not have a winning record in Big 12 play. So what do they have to do to put an end to all this and get a win in Austin?
Yeah, the 8-game Big 12 losing streak, that is not a record they want to set. So I think maybe just if they can come in with that in their minds, that might help. But I think a big thing is Lindy Waters pointed out after this last loss that he could kind of anticipate the struggles they were going to have, because in shoot-around, it wasn't going well. He said guys were forgetting plays. They just weren't focused. So I think it's really important for them to have that level of focus in practice leading up to this game, in shoot-around, so they can come into the game against Texas and have the right mentality. Because I thought that was obvious against Texas. Like I said, kind of the wheels fell off so early. It wasn't where they even had momentum to start with. So I think getting early momentum and then maintaining that through the whole game. And like Boynton said, kind of just at some point them being like, hey, we're tired of getting our butts kicked. Something's going to change. I don't know how easy it is for them to do that just because the roster is so small, but they've got to try and play with a chip on their shoulder.
Which of these 2 Longhorns do you think is more dangerous to the Cowboys, Kerwin Roach or Dylan Oskowski?
I don't know. That's a good question. And of course, I'd seen both of them play this season in Gallagher-Iba because OSU barely squeezed out the win against Texas.
Right.
So that is one thing that could give them a little bit of confidence, is at least, hey, we can beat this team. But I don't know. I might have to go with Kerwin Roach, just more on a consistent basis, but both those guys are dangerous for sure.
Right. Kerwin Roach is probably the most freakish athlete I've ever seen in my life in person. That guy could jump out of the gym, so you always got to watch out for him. Oskowski is a guy who can kind of do it all. He can pass, he can pull down the boards. Yorane will have a tough day, I think, on Saturday. What do you think about that? What do you think about that matchup?
Yeah, that's an interesting matchup. It gives Yorane good experience as a freshman for sure, going up against a guy like that. But he's a guy who's had a lot of progression lately. Of course, he fouled out against Texas Tech, so he's still going to watch that foul trouble. But considering where he is at this point in the freshman season, I think the future looks good, and he has been able to be kind of a bright spot for this losing team sometimes.
Would you say that's the brightest, or I guess like the best silver lining of the season is Yordanet's development?
Probably so. That's the thing that's really stood out to me. And of course, you have the other freshman starter, Isaac Likely, who's been able to develop too. But yeah, Yordanet is one who really stands out to me as someone who's just, committed to what the Cowboys are about, willing to work and learn from everyone all the time. So yeah, I think these next few seasons, he can be a really big contributor.
Right.
Well, ESPN is giving Oklahoma State a 9.3 chance to win this game. So there's not a lot of people that are probably going to choose the Cowboys to win this game. But what will your final score be for the game tomorrow down in Austin?
My final score, I think at some point this season, the Cowboys will get another Big 12 win, but I don't think it's going to be this one. I'm going to say Texas 72, OSU 65.
72-60. I mean, that compared to 28, that's not too bad. Logan, what about for you, your final score prediction?
I think it's going to be a little bit more slow game, or not slow, but low scoring game. Shaka Smart doesn't like to play a ton of guys. I think I want to say it's going to be Texas is going to win. I'm going to say 68-61.
Yeah, we're looking at that points per game and points allowed. I think it's going to be close. Eventually, I think Mike Boynton alluded to it, they're just going to get tired of getting beat, and they're going to have a game where they're going to go out and win. I'm kind of like Hallie. It's going to happen at some point. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, but I think it'll be close, probably 72-67, somewhere around there for a Cowboys loss. But they're going to get another win here eventually. But I hope they get it fixed. There's other Oklahoma State athletics taking place this weekend, Hallie. I know you're a big baseball fan. How excited are you that the first pitch is today for the Cowboy baseball team?
I'm super excited. I've been ready for baseball season to come back. I am thrilled about it, especially after, I got to tour the new O'Brate Stadium, which is under construction, and that's going to be awesome. So a lot of changes for this Cowboy baseball team. And of course, they start on the road. They have a 3-game series against UT Rio Grande Valley to kick it off this weekend. And even though that's on the road, they do have a really long home stretch at Alley P this season, which is cool because it's the last season they're playing there. And, as excited as I am for this new stadium, I love Alley P. It's one of my favorite places to cover a game, so it'll be cool being there for the last season.
Yeah, I mean, the Big 12 is a tough baseball conference. Obviously, you have Texas Tech, who I believe debuts the season at number 3. So it's going to be difficult. Really quickly, how far do you think this team can go in their last season in Alley P?
Well, it's interesting because this team has some of the guys who went to Omaha as freshmen. So they have that experience. You've got Colin Simpson, Jensen Elliott, guys like that. I think there's 4 of them total on the roster. So they've talked about how, they're trying to maintain, like Josh Holliday says, the DNA is in the locker room, kind of keep those guys on the team who can pass on the World Series mentality and maybe get them back there. I don't know if it's going to be another trip to Omaha, but I definitely think this team has the ingredients to make it on through, NCAA regionals and maybe get to a super regional, which they haven't done the last 2 years. So I'm going to give them, I'll say they'll get to a super regional this season. I don't know what's going to happen from there. Of course, I haven't really seen much, but they've got a lot of good transfers who've come in. The pitching staff, they've got a really tall pitching staff and several guys who I think could make a difference. And Holliday seems really excited about the newcomers, so they've got potential.
Well, there's a lot of excitement around the team and this kind of farewell tour for Alley P Stadium. So get out and enjoy the stadium. I know people are really going to enjoy O'Brate Stadium when it gets done, but you have one more year left of Alley P. Thank you so much for coming on and talking Cowboy baseball and basketball. Hopefully baseball goes a little bit better than basketball's gone. But again, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and talk about everything going on in the NFL.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG. or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They are also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Stillwater Medical Center now offers a convenient way to view your health information online. It's secure, easy, and free. Our hospital and clinic patient portals allow you to view results and reports, medications and allergies, track visit histories, view upcoming appointment information, and see your statements. To enroll, go to stillwatermedical.com and click on the patient portal link near the top right of the page. If you have questions, please feel free to call 405-533-6010.
Welcome back to One on One on Suddenlink Channel 112, Live Studio 318. You see Super Bowl 53 there, the 13-3 win for the New England Patriots. There's a lot of news always going on in the league. We talked about the Kareem Hunt signing, and Antonio Brown demanding a trade. Now the most, I don't know what word to describe him. I guess the most controversial name in the National Football League over the last 2 years is Colin Kaepernick. There's some news. We've talked about the Alliance of American Football. They got underway last weekend. It'll be week 2 this weekend. And reportedly, they reached out to Colin Kaepernick. And Colin Kaepernick and his representatives have not spoken on this. So this is coming from the Alliance of American Football, but I don't think they would just be saying this. I think there's a lot of legitimacy to these reports. They said that he went and reached out to him and he wanted $20 million. Some reportedly, Darren Rovell's tweeting that his sources tell him it was much more than $20 million. The guaranteed contracts are $250,000 over 3 years, and you're free to leave after May to go to the NFL. That's the contracts that everyone gets.
Yeah.
He wanted over $20 million.
I think it's obvious that he didn't want to be there if he's making an offer like that. He knew they weren't going to say yes. I think Colin Kaepernick still thinks he can play in the NFL and he doesn't need to be in the Alliance of American Football first to prove that he can still play. But I don't think he'll ever make it back to the NFL. And I don't know if he'll ever make it back to football, period. I don't know if he'll ever make it in the Alliance of American Football, Canadian football, whatever. I don't think he'll play football again. And I think he kind of knows that. And I think the only way he will come back to football is if someone gives him much more than $20 million.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of like you. It's kind of like the Pelicans-Lakers trade.
Yeah.
He just said a number, and they're like,
we can't do that.
That's impossible, and he hung up the phone. I mean, listen, this is the issue with Colin Kaepernick. It's the politics, everything in between, But the business of football, they want guys that are going to play football. He had a chance to play football.
Mm-hmm.
They reached their hand out, and he would have been one of the best players in the Alliance of American Football. Trust me. He said no. He said a number. Tells you he doesn't want to play football. Simple as that. And that tells you everything you need to know about his future in the NFL. There's not one. Simple as that. He had the opportunity to play football. He turned it down because if he went, would have, and lighted the AAF up, which I think he would have. I mean, Christian Hackenberg is starting.
Colin Kaepernick, I'm about to say Colin Coward. Colin Kaepernick would have been the MVP of the Alliance of American Football for all time until he retired.
And that would have, and he could have played 1 year, had a good year, and that would have only gave him and his camp ammunition to get back in the National Football League. But he simply didn't want to do it. They also reached out to Tim Tebow. Tebow's, I guess.
Isn't he busy playing AAA baseball?
He's busy watching the Mets burn to the ground, and no, he's going to get called up sooner rather than later. So, and he probably would have been more successful. They also reached out for him to play tight end. So, that was a joke.
Okay, I was like, huh.
You have to wonder what position they reached out to him to play, though. But he said no. Colin Kaepernick demanded more than $20 million, so they both said no because Bill Polian, the co-founder of the AAF, I think probably just laughed at that point. So, and a lot of laughing I've done because Joe Flacco is still a Bronco.
Come on. Why you gotta do that, Reed?
Because I absolutely have to. They're also not going to exercise linebacker Brandon Marshall's option, so it looks like he is going to be a free agent on the new league year at March 13th. Certainly he will find a place to stay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or a place to play, not stay. But he will be there, certainly. There's a lot of stuff going on in the NFL. As we said, the new league year starts March 13th.
Yeah. A lot of stuff going on.
The NFL, I am not a fan of this. I think it's crap, to be honest with you, in my opinion. They had extended an offer to Jalen Ferguson, a defensive end from Louisiana Tech. He's the all-time leader in NCAA history in sacks. They gave him an invite to the Combine. They have since pulled it.
Right.
Because early on in his freshman year, or before he got to Louisiana Tech, he was charged and convicted of a simple battery charge. The end of it was a fine of $185. He got in a fight at a McDonald's.
Yeah.
They rescinded it because of his conviction. That was 4 years ago. In 2016, they made the rule that if you've been convicted of domestic violence, sexual assault, or weapons charges, you won't even be invited. And if you declined a background check, you weren't allowed to compete. Now, he's still going to be drafted.
Oh, yeah.
But he won't be able to showcase and probably will slip in the draft a little bit because not being able to be at the Combine. I think this is incredibly dumb of the league to do.
Yeah, let me ask you, would you be okay with it if they had just not invited him?
I mean, I think it would have been better to go out and to jump in front of it and say, hey, we're not inviting you. But I think it's a simple battery charge of he got fined $185 4 years ago.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He hadn't been in any trouble at Louisiana Tech since that moment. He's been a model citizen, model teammate, model student.
Mm-hmm.
But over a $185 fine in a battery conviction in 2014, we have to say, nope, you can't come to the Combine. Trust me, there's people at that Combine who maybe haven't been convicted, but are much more flawed characters than Jalen Ferguson. That's just the fact of life. That's the fact of people. But to invite him and then uninvite him,
right?
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It's a bad look, and it's not like I would be different if he had tried to conceal it or something, but they...
Yeah, it was out there.
It's public record. A lot of our professors would be like, it's public record, you can go find it whenever you want. But it's kind of, I agree with you, it's ridiculous that they invite him, find this, and rescind it, especially given the severity of the incident, but do we expect the NFL to handle anything in the right way?
No.
I mean, has the NFL ever gotten a situation right? I would love to know what situation they got right.
Well, that's maybe
first try.
Maybe that's why they reached out to Adam Silver, because there's reports now that Fortune 500 companies have reached out for him. NFL owners have reached out to him to replace Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell obviously signed a $200 million 5-year deal in 2017. But what do you make of the owners approaching Adam Silver?
I think they see what he's done for the NBA, how the popularity of the sport has grown before and since he became commissioner of the NBA, and they're like, why aren't we having the same global impact that the NBA has? And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. It's a lot easier to put up a hoop than it is to put a 100-yard field out there
and goalposts
and goalposts,
and pads.
Right. Yeah. It's just a lot. Basketball's a much more accessible sport across the world, but nevertheless, it's become more popular, especially in countries like Africa and China, than football. Or I should say continent. Africa's not a country. That's my bad. But it's been more popular in that part of the world, I should say. So they look at what he's doing, and he's obviously doing a great job. The NBA has probably the best reputation of the Big Four sports in terms of how they're viewed by the media and fans. Players are obviously, they're the most popular athletes in the United States. Probably soccer is more popular globally.
Right, yeah.
But at least in the United States, you can recognize NBA players that sit on the bench before you can recognize some Pro Bowl or All-Pro linemen or whatever in the NFL. It's just more easy to see guys that aren't wearing a helmet. So I think they're looking at what Adam Silver's done, and they're like, well, people don't hate him like they do Roger Goodell. He's doing a good job. Why not ask? But I'm glad he's sticking with basketball.
Yeah, I mean, he's been with the NBA forever, so that's not a shock there. But interesting that a story like that came out nonetheless. We're going to take a 71-hour break. We have a debut of a new segment on Monday, The Bullpen. Jason Colicchio and Barrett Guest will try to explain to you why you should watch baseball, and I am excited.
Me too.
Change my mind.
I was about to say, change my mind.
So we do have the debut of The Bullpen, but we will be back on Monday to discuss Oklahoma State athletics and everything going on in the sports world. We'll see you then.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.